All right, we're going to get it started. I'm going to mute everybody. Select the space. Please, if you get muted, unmute yourself and go ahead and lead us in the Sailor's Creed.
Attention to the Sailor's Creed. I,
United States Sailor. I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, and I will obey the orders of those who govern. I represent the fighting spirit of the Navy and those who have gone before me to defend freedom and democracy around the world. I proudly serve my country's Navy combat team with honor, courage, and commitment. I am committed to excellence and the fair treatment of all.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, again, thank you everybody for making it on here. We're going to, start this off. I'm going to make some intros, but before, this is the 11th annual Big J CPO Heritage Academy. It's the first virtual version of this. Unfortunately, we couldn't be there on the ship. So for the, for all of those who've been on the ship, it's definitely an experience. For those, this is the first time. Hopefully we'll get you on board, in person at some point. But to start this event off right, we have a special intro video from one of the ship's crew, Mr. Ken Kirch, who's a big supporter of us. So I'm going to start sharing his video here. We did a test run of this. So if for some reason it goes wrong, hopefully, and of course, I get the first pop-up. I tested it, but I changed my audio, and now it's messing up. So give me 1 second, and appreciate everyone's patience. Boom. All right.
So while he's going with that, Ken Kirsch, who's a veteran of the battleship, he served on it in Vietnam, and he's a volunteer there now. Not just a volunteer, he actually runs all the mechanical on the ship. He fires the guns, he's the lead of the gun crew. He pretty much does it all there for the ship to keep it operational as it is. And so it's a real special treat that you guys get to see him, because he actually had COVID and survived. And we weren't sure if he was going to be able to come out, and he came out just to make sure he did this because he really believes in it. He's a local mess honorary chief as well, so he's a great guy. Ken Kirsch. There we go.
All right.
From the battleship New Jersey, affectionately known as the Big J, I'm Ken Kirsch. I served on the battleship New Jersey 1967, 68, 69. For the past 11 years, Chief Selects have had the opportunity to come aboard the ship with their mentors, immersing themselves in the life of a battleship sailor, and receiving hands-on leadership training from chiefs all around the world. Though this year may be a little different, the Chief's Mess has once again proved that nothing can withstand the power of the mess. We can never replicate the actual experience of living and working on the battleship, but with this virtual Heritage Week, we're setting a foundation for all of you. What you are about to experience will still truly be one of a kind. The crew on the battleship New Jersey misses you. We wish you were here this year. We really enjoy hosting you on the battleship, and hopefully we'll see you all the next year.
So yeah, that was Mr. Ken Kirch, and I mean, he said it pretty straightforward. Nothing beats the experience of being there in person, but we're going to give you over the next few days a taste of that experience, that essence of what is the Big J CPO Heritage Academy as much as we can. So I'm going to introduce our executive committee that helped plan this. I know this CPO season was a little unique. It was on again, off again. We did everything we could, and I'm glad that we were able to make this happen for all of you. So I am ISCM Jonathan Bosick. I am NAVI4 Res N14 on the headquarters staff, and I am the chair. My co-chair is Alvin Jitt, and let me see if I can spotlight him. Where are you at, Alvin? Or you have your camera on? There he is. He's waving right there. So Alvin, you want to say a little bit about yourself, where you're from?
So again, Alvin Jitt. First name's Alvinesh, last name's Jitt, LSC type. currently located at NOS Baltimore. I'm the supply department head over here. This is actually my 5th year with the Big J. I'm excited you guys could join us, and first of all, thank you for attending. Back to you, John.
All right, thanks, Alvin. So next we have, I'm sure everyone already knows him, ISCM, Josh Mangum. Where are you at on the videos? Why don't you get you spotlighted?
Someone
There he
keeps me. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's Jonathan. Hey, I'm Master Chief Mangum. I was kind of a plank owner with this event. My chiefs brought me out as a selectee back in '09 for a Comrail, and the next year we did the encampment, and then so on, and it grew to a 350+ person event, and the Naval Reserve's flagship CPO initiation event. So I really hope you put up your best forward and get it done, and have fun doing it, and learn a lot, and engage, and speak, and talk, and don't hide away, because this is all for you. These chiefs have been working hard to get this done virtual. It's harder almost than doing it on the ship. So we're available to you. Anything you need, let us know. Thank you for being here.
Awesome, thanks, Josh. And then next we have Scott Murray. I see you on. Do you have a camera? There you are. See if we can get you spotlighted.
Cheap camera, but it works. Yeah, so welcome everybody. It's good to see everyone here. I actually did the Big J last year in person as a select, so I can tell you when you have the chance next year, if we have a chance next year to do it in person, definitely get out there. Take the most out of this event you can. Hopefully it'll be an experience to remember, and obviously everything's weird this year. You're probably used to it by now, so we flexed, we made it work, and I hope you have a really great time. Yeah.
Awesome, thanks, Scott. And I'm trying to see, did we get Shannon Bresnock dialed in or online? Nothing heard. For those, I'm sure everyone already knows Shannon. She's one of our primary people that keeps everyone informed, runs the website, registration, make sure our planning, our executive committee is actively engaged. She is currently down there in Florida and staying nice and warm. And if we had this up in the cold weather up there in Philly, we would have to send a working party down there to go bring her up because she doesn't like the cold weather. But Shannon's great. Again, we couldn't have done this event without her every year, and we're glad to have her on our team. We also have like a ton of other volunteers to go down that entire list. Will take about the whole 30 minutes as well. With that, everyone's put in time and effort to make this event possible. Honorable mentions: Ray Moore, Tim Williams, Gina Daniels, Michelle Cheney. There's a bunch of others. I don't want to leave anybody else out, but again, to name everybody would take too much time. But again, you'll meet them. You'll see the event coordinators, and hopefully you'll get to talk with them throughout the next coming days. But a big thank you to everybody that played a part in, stepping up, making sure that this event can happen, getting the resources, coordination, and getting you the information out to the selectees and the genuines to participate. So with that was the introductions. Now I'm going to go into the meat and the potatoes of this time slot, which is the expectations of this event. This isn't the fun stuff. I'm going to share some screens, talk some through to try to help put some method to the madness that we have lined up. Again, I appreciate everyone's patience and understanding in this virtual environment, and as we make the best of the situation that we are in. So expectations. This is a virtual training event. So it's not like we're in a mess on a ship or in a mess in a building somewhere where we have the closed doors and it's just chiefs. So please keep in mind that we have members that might be sitting in their living rooms, might be at their work in their office, might be on audio with open speakers or in headphones and all that. So make sure that discussions, make sure everything is kept professional. And what that means is wear the uniform of the day. Try not to eat if your camera is on in front of everybody. Not saying you can't eat, just make sure you're not chomping down and your microphone is on. This is a dry event, so no seasonal libations. Make sure that you wait until after the event hours. And I'm not sure if you can pick it up on my headphones, but if you hear my dog running around, I do apologize. Things like that, you are gonna pick it up when we're talking and all that. So again, just take it with stride. It is going to happen. It is expected. A cat might jump on your laptop. We understand that. It's, you know, not on that nice controlled environment on that fantail of the Big J or down in the mess decks and all that. So it is understanding, you know, just, you know, expect that. So with that, again, we have some very senior level people that might be jumping in and out of these training events. They have been added to our attendee list. No need to call them out. We have specific times when we will actually introduce them in that. So if you're just scanning through the participants list and you see, oh, you know, we have, you know, Command Master Chief or Force Master Chief or, you know, Admiral sitting in and listening in, no need to be like, hey, this person's in there. Most likely the executive committee is tracking and knows. And they're just seeing all the good training and all the good experiences that you all get. Just like when we were on the ship, they'd be like sitting in the back of one of the tables on the fantail, listening in and seeing all the stuff that's going on. So, you know, just keep that in mind. You never know who's listening, who's watching. So with that, I'm going to kind of share my screen and talk you through some of where the files are. And I'm also going to go over some of the guest accounts that we know we have out there. So with the when you're in the teams here, I'm going to show you an example. I have a bunch of teams, but our main event team is the Big J CPOHA, as you see there. The general channel, what that is if you have any questions or issues that you want to talk to the executive committee specifically or the IM team, you can post it in there because there's no meetings really tied to that during this next couple of days. So if you say, hey, can someone help me out with that? That won't put it into an actual meeting or chat or anything like that, a specific group. That's just a general, like, you know, helpline, so to speak. So that's not, hopefully you won't have to use it that much. These boat team channels, these are for the selectees and they have been assigned boat teams. So basically each selectee, if you haven't already, we need to know that you should be assigned a boat team and two boat team leads that will be your primary mentors, your point of contact. They're going to be like your event sponsor, so to speak. If you have any issues, if you're going to be late, if you don't know where to go, if you have any questions, is this a real tasker or should I be doing this? You should be leveraging your boat team lead. If you don't know who your boat team lead is, you know, post it in the general chat and we will make sure that you get to the right POC, the right chief that's going to take care of you. But those boat team rooms for all the genuines on this training, it's open. You can go in there. But we ask that you keep quiet because you can go in, monitor, you can drop some pearls of wisdom, but that boat team is basically considered the boat teams for their coordination, for their planning to get taskers done internally and all that. The boat team leads are genuine chiefs, and if they ask you to leave, please respect that, and you know, or ask you to, you know, hey, step back, let them have this time. We do ask you to, you know, please respect that in there. This CPO mess chiefs only, that's a private channel. So just so you know, for genuines, that is the genuines only, you only have access to that. The fantail, which we all are in right now in a meeting on the calendar, but the fantail is all hands. So anything that you want to post to everybody, selectees and genuines to know, that's where this channel can be used to share links or anything like that. And then the goat locker, this is what we would normally have on the ship where the messes can post if they're selling coins, t-shirts, hats, and all that. You can drop that information in there so people can see, you know, what swag you may have available and they can purchase online. Of note, our actual event, we have our information. We dropped a link in there where you can order the CPO t-shirts and coins. They were delayed in the manufacturers due to, of course, COVID delays. So if you've ordered them, you haven't got lost in the mail. We haven't shipped them yet. So those are still available and will be available for purchase throughout the event and afterwards as well. But, you know, other messes, please feel free. As you can see, some have already dropped. Post stuff in there if you're looking to, you know, try to offer out some CPO gear. The mess decks, selectees, this is specifically for you. This is where not just your boat team, you're in small groups. Mess decks, this is where all the selectees can go in and network yourselves. Genuines don't have access to that, but the executive committee and volunteers do. But we will try to be quiet in that mess deck area for selectees only as much as possible. We might drop stuff in there for make sure that all the selectees get the info, but for the most part, that's for you all to socialize if you want, for everybody outside your boat team for the selectees. Then the volunteers are already tracking. We have the volunteers only channel. That is for our volunteer coordination within this team. And if you're not a volunteer, of course, you won't have access to that. So those are the main channels. Real quick for files, I know that question came up. If you go to specific channels up at the top here, you will see files tab. If you click on that, files, just like if you were in a Windows and dropping a folder and files into a folder, that's what you'll see in there. So the main one for this training event that everyone should know and go to is under the Fantail All Hands, the Files tab, and then you'll see that there's different folders. Our schedule, the official schedule, is out in the open right there, so you can open that up. You can see what it is. Right now we're on version 1. Hopefully we don't have to change it that much, but if we do have to change it, that's where the most current version of the schedule will be dropped, is right here, and then the old one will be removed, so avoid any confusion. And if we do have to change it, we'll make an announcement on when the schedule has been changed. The boat team assignments, you see a spreadsheet, you'll see the boat teams. It's an Excel doc. You can open it right in CVR, and you can see what boat team assignments are. Selectees, this is a big one. You should have seen it in your boat team room. Selectee task guidance. These are the approved taskers that you have throughout this week. So that was posted earlier today. Make sure you go in there, read through them, note the deadline, note the POCs. If you have questions, go to your boat team leads, but make sure you read all of them and know what is expected of you through the coming days. And for those who do not have access, guest accounts for selectees and genuines alike in all these folders and files that I'm talking about, the goal is, ideally try to hit up a battle buddy. If you know somebody that has a regular account that can help get that information to you if and when needed, specifically for the selectees, a battle buddy, because there's going to be a lot of movement of files and everything on your part. Try to hook up with somebody within your boat team to kind of help you out, saying, hey, I need to know this, or hey, can you get me a copy of this? For genuines, we ask you try to do the same thing so we can kind of limit prioritize our limited bandwidth with our volunteers. But if you don't have a battle buddy, let one of our volunteers know, and we'll try to make sure that we get you that information as well. The priority of all the support is during this event is to make sure that we have and maintain our tight schedule and timelines for the event schedule. If there's not an immediate need for a file, we will make them available to everybody on the back end who don't have direct access, but it might just be a little bit of delayed. So again, we appreciate your patience and understanding, but we will get to it. There's a lot of moving parts, and we just want to make sure everyone has that expectation understanding. And then as we go through the training and these videos that you're watching and seeing, if we have them available for direct download, we will be dropping them in the respective days. So basically, day 1, day 2, day 3, if you click in the folder, you'll see we'll be dropping files in there. So the presentations and all that may not be available until like the day or later that day after the presentation or the next day. But anything that we are trying to make available for your toolbox, we will drop in there so you all can have it for direct download. Again, for those who are in guest accounts, if you don't have a battle buddy, they can pull those for you. We will also come up with an alternate option to make sure all of this was available to you, maybe like in a Google Drive or some other option, so you'll have access to that as well. We understand that there's limitations. And then one other major thing in the Fantail, and I'm not going to take the thunder because this will be described a little bit more, but there is a charge book folder, a Pride folder, and then our guest speakers. We have our speaker bio folder where if you want to learn about some of the guest speakers prior to their presentation later in the week, you can pull up their bio information there, read about them, and we highly encourage all selectees to do so, as well as genuines who may be interested in it, to get to know the people that are coming in, because we have some great guest speakers and some great training evolutions coming up, and it's definitely beneficial. I'm going to pause there for any questions or comments. And if you haven't already noticed in the chat, if you look up at the top, depending on what, in your CVR, you will see a little hand. Whenever you want to ask a question, during any of these events. If you have that availability, definitely want to use that as much as possible. When you click the hand, it highlights you in the video or down at the bottom, but it also leaves a hand up in the participants, and the presenters or the training leads or the event leads can see that you have a question. It may not get to you directly, but we'll circle back on you, and it keeps from everyone talking over each other. So I'm going to pause there. Is there any questions? And we could test out the hand action on where the files are and where all these the difference of these different rooms. Because I know there's a lot of movements. And if there's no questions, I'm going to move on to some specific calendar stuff, and then we'll get to the next evolution. No questions. Easy crowd. This is great. I was expecting all kinds of like whatever. If you don't want to ask it off, and during this event, if you have some sidebars, please post it in the general, and one of our volunteers will circle back and make sure that you're taken care of. Main thing is, if you don't know where to be or whatnot, ask selectees, ask your boat team leads. Genuines, just hit up in the goat locker. I'm sorry, in the CPO mess channel, and we can get the information to you as soon as we can. No need to think that you're lost during this event. All right. So one last thing is the calendar. I apologize. I have some crazy stuff on my calendar, but as you can see here, the way we have some of these set up, and I'm going to show you our event schedule. So the way that we have the event schedule set up is we have by days, we have the events and the time blocks, and then we have these locations. The locations tell you where you should technically be. And then a POC for that event, who would be, if you have some definitive questions, or you want to follow up about either something that was talked about, or what's planned, or taskers, or what needs to be. It gives you at least in the right direction. And if they can't help you, they'll know who can. So the location, you'll see Teams channels, which is the boat team channels that I pointed out. Fantail, that's a persistent meeting. And if you see anything that says calendar meeting, that means there's a specific meeting on your calendar that you should have, and or received an email with a link or dial in that you can connect to that has a specific meeting set aside. Because of all the functionality and the tech stuff, we don't want to kill some of these inboxes, and plus we have to individually add 100 and some people to get that actual individual calendar session set up. So we were trying to, logistically, we were kind of limited. So that's why we're doing this. So that's where you would find out where you technically need to be. But again, we are available to help you to find out where, if you have any questions. And then on your calendar, like for this upcoming one, we're going to have, we're in the big J room right now, which you see right here. And then there's sub tables. And these tables, these are sub meetings that you see that they overlap. And I'm going to go over that when we get to the next session. But if you have a specific where it says it's a calendar meeting, you should, if you go into your calendar, guest accounts, you'll have to use the email link that we sent you if you don't have access to a calendar. And this is where you will find the information to join specific meeting. So we try to limit these type of special things as much as possible. But the big one that I want to foot stomp when I got you all is the CNR and force visit. And that is going to be on Saturday. So we are going to go to that specific separate meeting first, and then come back to the fantail. So if there's any questions and all that, we'll make sure you know where to go. But that's the one we want to make sure everyone on Saturday goes to first, is the CNR force all hands meeting. So I know there's a lot of moving parts. I will pause for questions on the calendars and for our schedule that we have lined up here for like locations, POCs, and general overview. No hands saw, nothing heard. One other thing for selectees specifically, those taskers that I mentioned, I showed you where the folder is. You'll note on the calendar, you'll see a little asterisk, and it says tasker due. That's just a reminder that there is something that you may have due. So if you've overlooked it, you haven't communicated, or you've forgotten, that's just another foot stomp. So just make sure you're using that and making sure that you're keeping up to what information, what taskers that are required when, and you're showing up prepared. We got an extra 5 minutes from what we had on the schedule. I'm going to turn it over to any of the volunteers in case I forgot to mention anything that I asked you to kind of help me remember the foot stomp. Did I miss anything?
You do have one hand up.
Oh, what do I got? Who we got?
Hey, Master Chief. I will get a partner to get me the information I need because I'm working off a guest account right now. But for this Meet the Mess, it looks like we're supposed to be in a certain table. Could you happen to pull that up so I know where I'm going?
Yeah, and when we move over to that next, I just want to make sure for this expectation for overall, and then we'll go over to the Meet the Mess, which directly follows this. So before we get ahead of each other, I just want to close that out. But good question, and I'll point that out when we get to that.
Thank you.
Any other questions on where the folders, file sections, the different channels, and how to use them? Expectations? Again, keep it professional. Uniform of the day. The backgrounds are ideal, but not required if you can do them. If you need help with that, we can definitely help as well. Again, thank you all for being here. This is an awesome event. It's going to be awesome, even though it's virtually, because now you can, wear comfy socks and slippers, but nothing beats running through the Big J, smelling, the smells that you can only get on the ship, doing the awesome scavenger hunt, running through the P-ways and the different, spaces, finding different things, learning so much history, the awesome hands-on damage control that we do on the pier, the PT run across the bridge, and all the history sites that we see around Philly. Again, it's an awesome event. When next year, selectees, if you get through the season, hopefully we'll see you back as volunteers and supporting the event, and we'll be on that ship, and you guys will see all the things that we try to give you a little taste of. I'm excited. I'm glad you're all here. Hopefully you're excited and you take everything you can. This is a great event. And with that, I will, again, pause, take a drink of water, and then I'll move on to Meet the Mess, which, believe it or not, I am the POC for, so you get to hear my voice for a little bit longer. So here's my pause. Hydrate. At least we don't have a bunch of water bottles that we have to run around with and have stacks and carry up and down the gangplank. But all right, Meet the Mess. This is going to be fun. It's meant to be fun, and it's totally expected to be chaos. All right. So this is your first test of organizational abilities, virtual and online. So again, this is going to be expected to be fun and chaos. I'm still sharing my screen. What I'm going to show is the overall, the event, the expectation. And then actually, if you go into day one under the Fantail files, you'll see a Meet the Mess folder. Both these documents that I'm showing is readily available there, and you can pull both these documents if you want. So the selectee that had a question of what table meeting that they're first assigned to, it is posted in there. So if one of your boat team members can look your name up and give you a private chat to tell you what boat team, what table meeting you need to be at, that would be great. For genuines for this event, you should have one table meeting to be assigned to. So for the genuines, you should have gotten a calendar invite. If you go into your calendar, you should see one table meeting. When we break here, and do not go there until I say break, genuines will go to their assigned table meeting. Selectees, you're assigned to all three. So you're going to see all three, hopefully, or have links to all three. But the first one that you go to when I say break, and again, don't go anywhere until I say break, will be the one that's on this list, the one that I sent out earlier today and put in your boat team chats. So find your name there. If you're on table meeting 1, that's the first category. That's the first table meeting that you're going to. If you're in table meeting 2, that's the first table meeting that you're going to go to. If you're listed under table meeting 3, that's the first table meeting you go to. So I'm telling you, if we were on the Fantail right now, how we would do this is we'd had 3 big tables, and this is the first table that you're going to. So this is how we're trying to do a sub breakout without having to go to all these different individual things. Any questions from the selectees on what table meeting you go, how to find what table meeting you're going to go to first? All right, so if you show up in the wrong meeting, it's your fault because you didn't ask questions right now. Genuines, I'm going to ask, does everyone, if you're confused on what where to go for your first for your table meeting, I'm going to ask that you put it in the general chat, and we'll make sure we get you where you need to be. Got a question, Tamika?
Yes, I needed to know because I'm like literally driving home, so I needed to know which one I'm supposed to be on? Which table first?
Okay, so for that one, you're going to be in table meeting 1. And please,
Thank you.
if you're driving, if you need to put pause and get home safely, do not put yourself in harm's way.
I'll miss it when I'm retired.
All right, so I'm going to mute everybody.
I'm missing it now.
And I'm going to continue talking. All right, so when I say break, genuines, please go to your calendar table. Selectees, go to your first meeting assignment. Now, when you go there, what's going to happen, this is what some people might know as the 5-finger showdown. So basically, when you get into that meeting, ideally, everyone turns their cameras on if you have the ability to do that. If you don't have cameras, try to participate in audio. I'm not going to micromanage how this is done. It's just, this is supposed to be fun. It's going to be, again, chaos, but that's part of the fun. It's an icebreaker. It's an icebreaker in a larger group in the virtual environment. So what you're going to do is when you go in these rooms, you're going to turn all your cameras on. If you're not familiar with it, and I forgot to point this out, is, let's see here, is if you're not familiar with it, the 3 dots up at the top, you have gallery view, which will show you a limited number, large gallery view, which will show you more screens if you have that capability. Not all system has it, but if you're using a desktop CVR, you could do large gallery view and you can see a maximum number of screens, videos. So when you go to these table meetings, these breakouts, what we want is everybody to turn on their cameras, and we're not giving you a list of questions. We want you to come up with the questions. And ideally what it's going to be is going to be a selectee starts off asking a question as an icebreaker. It's like get to know somebody, right? So in the last 6 months, who adopted a dog, right? And everyone's holding up, sorry, I got a little bit ahead of myself. Everyone's holding up their hand, 5 fingers, right? And the selectee asks a question, who in the last 6 months adopted a dog? If you did, you put your finger down. So now you have 4 fingers. And the goal is to get everyone's fingers down. And so when you're asking the questions, you see their names at the bottom of the screen. You see their rank because if they have the banner at the top. But it's a quick way without having to do individual breakouts to try to get to know people, get icebreakers. And that's the reason why we split it up, the selectees, not by boat teams, because you're going to get to know your boat teams in the coming days. We want the selectees to know everybody, as well as the genuines. So the selectee asks the first question, then a genuine will ask another question, and you just keep going back and forth. We've allotted 15 minutes, and then we're going to rotate tables. And when we rotate tables, genuines, you stay where you're at. You don't have to move. Selectees, you get to do the virtual legwork. And if you're in table meeting 1, you're going to go to table meeting 2. And if you're in table meeting 2, you're going to go to table meeting 3. If you're table meeting 3, you're going to go to table meeting 1. And we're going to try to get everybody through and try to get to know a little bit about it. Keep these questions, these icebreaker questions have to be appropriate, some that you would ask in public into like, G rating, and it should be appropriate, but get creative. We've all been in quarantine COVID environment. You can ask, who in the last year, have started their own sourdough starter or ran out of toilet paper. So some examples are in that document that I provided, but, ask other questions. You come up with it. And, selectees, again, it's genuine and a selectee going back and forth. So someone, if the rooms are dead quiet and no one wants to step up, we all are leaders. Selectees, you're hopefully putting on anchors. So, take charge and keep the flow going. And we're going to give 15 minutes each for these table rotations. We'll go around and give you the hey, you got 5 minute warning before rotations, and then we do expect some rough patches. So any questions on this? Is it confusing? Is it clear as mud?
We've got Select Flame's hand, and go ahead.
All right, let's go with was it Rodriguez?
Good evening, HMC Select Rodriguez here. I am following, but I'm not sure how to get to the tables.
Yeah, John, will you show them where the tables are on the fantail? If you go to the fantail, show them where those table meetings are.
So for those who are not on guest accounts, move my schedule here. You go to the teams. You're going to go down to fantail, the all hands, right? So if you don't want to use the, the calendar option that I mentioned, I showed, that's one way of doing it. But another way of doing it, if you go on the fantail all hands, you see table 1, table 3, and then table 2 up here. You can just
I'm
click
sorry,
join
can I
right
stop
from
you
there.
for just 1 second?
Yes.
If you are in the large gallery view and you can see everyone's photos, you are not able to see what is being projected right now. You need to change your view back to gallery and you will see what he's talking about. You have to manually change that.
Or you can click directly on the picture of what he's presenting. You can only see one or the other, either the large gallery or the presenting piece.
Thank you for pointing that out. You all will be CVR masters by the end of this session, because we're going to run you through the ropes and you're going to be able to run virtual drill weekends and all kinds of craziness with this. There's an added benefit of doing this virtually. So can everyone see what I'm showing right now? All right, we're good. All right, so you have 2 options. You can either go to your calendar, which I already showed you that it'll show up as a calendar, or you come right here in the fantail, and in the fantail, you're going to see already set up table 2, table 1, and table 3, and you can click join right from there. So when I say breakout, you go to, everyone goes out to their respective virtual tables, and then just start right off. There's no one going to be in the room to say, "Oh, hey, go ahead and go." I gave you the guidance. Just make it happen, and you have 15 minutes. If you run through and everyone's got their fingers down in the first 5 minutes, you could start another set of questions again, or you can start a discussion. The whole point of Meet the Mess in this point is to get the selectees to know each other, as well as the genuines to get to know the selectees, and vice versa, and intertwine and all that. It's not just an introduction, like this is who I am and going down. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an icebreaker. It's supposed to, get you outside in a professional manner, outside your comfort zone, and not just regurgitating the same thing. And then when you go to the selectees, when you move to the next table, hopefully you'll get different questions, and you'll get to know different chiefs, and you'll get to know different selectees, because the new questions, now you know a little bit more different answers from everybody. So this is going to be fun. Trust me, it's going to be chaos, but it's going to be fun. Go ahead, and we're going to stop. We're going to break out, go to your assigned tables, but for everybody, just so you know, after 17:45, we're going to do 15-minute rotations. 17:45, we're going to have a break. It's going to be 15 minutes, and then everyone's going to be back here. Well, genuines, you can go back to the CPO mess or back here in the fantail. Selectees, look at your calendar where you need to be. If you look, you see boat team intros, team channels. You'll be in your respective teams at 1800. So we'll give more guidance on that. But again, thank you all for being here. Let's go forth, have some fun, get some learning on, get some CPO heritage, and just experience the Big J from the comfort of whatever chair or standing desk that you're at. So go ahead and everyone break out. I'm going to stay on here to kind of answer questions if people get lost or whatnot. Volunteers I spoke to will be in the different rooms and can kind of help. So go forth. We know the first couple minutes are going to be chaotic, but again, we appreciate your patience and understanding, and let's get through this and let's have some fun. Thank you, everybody. Go out to your tables.